Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. In the morning, these videos come. In the evening, the MCQ lessons they come, and MCQ lessons they come daily, 7 days a week. And yesterday's lesson was not uploaded, so it will be uploaded today. So today we'll get 2 MCQ lessons, and let's start the lesson. Newspaper, very important issues are going on, and it's a great opportunity for you to analyze things in a best manner, because all kinds of options, all kinds of opinions, expert expressions are available, and it's a huge issue. It's a very less time to cover these issues, so these articles are so vast, so deep that it will take a lot of time. So we are discussing here some issues and a very important topic on federal features, which is today we will discuss here. Flat 60% off is going on all these courses, and you can call on these numbers, and you can visit the website also. Their chat section is available. Pocket News app is trending on Google Play, and the description is given below the video. You can access that. You can call on these numbers regarding these courses. PDF you will get here. You will send me a request, I would approve, and Telegram channel also you will get there. So on both these places you get the PDFs, and you must follow the PDF after the lesson. A lot of things are there. So my focus more is on explanation, because many angles we get out of some lines, some words, some paragraphs. So it's all spontaneous. So many times these explanations are having a range and go through the PDF also. So that's the case. This is here you can follow me on Instagram too, and this is the Telegram channel's link. Some words that I found today, you can use that. Now about the RBI's Goldilocks cut. RBI again went for a cut, and it was expected whether they will go for a 25 basis point or a 50 basis point. RBI thought 25 is too less, 50 is too much, so they went for 35 basis points. So now we are standing at 5.40% of the repo rate, and that's low, 9-year lowest, and eventually we will go towards 5%. This is the indication by RBI. Why? There is a time where growth is not much there. Even the automobile sector, Mr. Rahul Bajaj said that growth will not fall from heavens. So government needs to take some steps here. So here the RBI is taking these things accordingly, and inflation is under control till now. For the next 1 year, they think that this will be in a manageable range, so they can go for this expansion of the economy. And you see, 5.4% is a very low number, but only a third of these changes. You see, we have gone down with 110 basis points since February. It's a 1.1% difference. It's a huge difference in this much time. So within 7-8 months, if you go this within 6 months, if you go this much down, then there must have been many changes. But banks, they are facing equal troubles there. As I explained to you earlier also, that banks earning is the difference between the interest they pledge on the FDs and all, the time deposits and all, and the interest they take on the loans which they extend to these people. So the difference will be gone if they will consistently bring this descent in these numbers, because suppose they have pledged 8 to 7% on their FDs, and it was 9% interest rate for them at that time. So 2% was the difference. That was the earning of the bank. And at that time, you just suppose repo rate was at 7.7%. You take 7% was the repo rate. So they extended loans for 9%, because equal numbers are not there always. Bank rate is always higher. So this is a condition where 7% is the repo rate, and 7% they have pledged on FDs to the people that they will pay, and 9% they are extending loans on. Now RBI goes for this fall, and they reach up to 5%. Then RBI expects that this much change will be there in the bank's interest rate also, and this will be extended to the consumers ultimately, and the money flow will be higher, and liquidity will flow in the economy, and it will expand, because more money will be available for the investment. People will go for more and more loans. So this way they can go for expansion. Now see, banks do not extend it in this same manner. Banks will say that we pledged 7% here, now you are saying that 5% you go with, and that means 7% we should provide loans to the people. That is impossible, because these funds which we have, this we collected in the past, and those were costly, and according to today's condition, you are saying that give it for 7%, 8%. That's not that much we can do, because we have plus 7%. We cannot give a loan for 7%, 8% or 8.5%. We will go above 9. So that means already it's a defeated purpose by RBI, because the transmission by the banks, that is not happening accordingly. So that's the problem of this interest rate transmission. RBI decides, but what banks extend, that matters. So that's the problem. That's why only a number below a third is extended to the consumers by banks, even after this 110 basis point fall. And it's a very troublesome phase for the Indian economy. As we all know, many sectors are struggling a lot, and consistent downward revision of these growth numbers is going on. And in this situation, where IMF has also revised this from 7.2 to 7% and MPC from 7 to 6.9%. So we were already going on a lower side, and again a downward revision is there. That means things are not all right. In June, it was only 0.3% core sector growth. So that's really a concerning thing. And much more concerning thing is, many confusions are going on regarding the numbers, the statistics. NSC members, they resigned on the employment data issues, and the same data was not accepted after elections. They accepted the same number of unemployment numbers and all. And later, regarding the GDP numbers, it was a controversy. They were saying that Arvind Subramaniam said that these are inflated numbers by 2.5%. That means the growth percentage is not right. Now it's a big blast by CAG office. CAG says that around 3 trillion rupees which were taken as debt by PFCs and all, these were extra budgetary borrowing, and these are not included in the fiscal deficit numbers. That means it's a huge thing, because they only talked about fiscal deficit. They were only concerned about the fiscal deficit in this budget. And that's why they said that we cannot go for any government expenditure. And they gave a number of 3.3, and they said that we will come towards 3% eventually in 2 years. But CAG says, according to the established norm and what we were following, these real numbers are 6% of the fiscal deficit. What is this? That's a dangerous thing, and that's a really concerning thing. Means, is it a consistent manipulation of the data that is going on? Because CAG office is very much important. They have given a lot of emphasis to that, and in the previous regime, all the scams were out because of the CAG reports only. So now CAG says they are not including crucial numbers there, and it is close to 6%, and 6% is a huge number. They target 3%. 6% is the, if the present number, then it's really a great concern, and our economy is going through a dangerous phase, and we may face a crisis very soon. So that's why government needs to bring some crucial steps here, and they must go for this expenditure and all, and there may be a possibility that these numbers are true. That's why they are pushed for these overseas sovereign bonds and all, and these things are indicating towards a major trouble. So that's why government has to play its part too in boosting growth, apart from the RBI revised repo rate numbers. So that's the case. Now, this article by Lucy Tillon, it's a very important one. She has written a book on Indian federalism. Indian federalism is a unique thing. First, we talk about India here, because the background is important. What is India? The Britishers said when they were leaving that India can never remain a country. There are many divisions and these infarts and all. There are many fissures that this country will tear apart. But we maintain that. Why? Because of our ethos, because of our particular thinking that we all are one. We all belong to this subcontinent and this geographical region. And any situation, any emergency situation, any kind of problem or happiness, we all are one. We had celebrated festivals together. We had respected each other. And that's why it was a great thing. And we respected the uniqueness of all the regions there. And Where is this thing is reflected? This thing is reflected in our quasi-federation system. We have accommodated states. Today it is the thing of Article 370 in Kashmir. And one more thing, people are very much following sweeping arguments and common ideologies, and always you must remember one thing: the intelligent people are very less in this world, and the think tanks are very less in number. They are not a majority, they are always a minuscule minority. And today the things are going on according to the majority numbers. What are their opinions? They matter. So this is not a good sign for any country where the rationalist minds, they feel suppressed, they feel less space there, and the whole space is captured by the majority opinion, which are a crowd actually. Why they are a crowd? Because they have not done something great in their life and they make crowd. So their opinion matter, but their opinions which are away from the rationale, these are not important. Important is that we follow the best minds there, and what best minds say. Maybe they are saying something unacceptable, but we must listen to that, and that's why they need to listen to that. This is the time when we focus on things, when we go very slow with these understandings, and when we become focused on the facts. Instead of that, we are dancing here, and that's a dangerous trend there. Whenever there are big changes, we need to focus on the details instead of dancing and hailings and claiming some things. These are not right things, because governments are hardly reliable these days all over the world. This is a well-known fact. So that's why we need to stick to the constitutional ethos and values, and there is a reason that we follow a rationalist way here, because with this rationalist way only we will reach somewhere. Maybe we will reach at the same place where majority is thinking, but this way should be adopted. So the way is very much important, and the way is a problem where they have made the J&K state as a union territory. The way is questioned here, not the step, not the decision of scrapping 370, because we were gradually scrapping this 370. This was going on, and it would have taken some time, but turning a state into a union territory, that's an attack on the federal features here, and that is the issue that Louis Editorial is talking about. Here, as I told you, we have maintained this country instead of so many countries within a country. If you compare it with other nations, you think the condition of other countries like Spain, European countries, or somewhere else, it's a small amount of difference in the opinions, and major riots and civil wars, they erupt in these countries. But here in this country, we are maintaining a magical state where so many opinions, regions, caste, religion, difference, cultures, traditions are surviving, but still we are one. There must be a reason, and it's a good handling of this issue till now, and that's why it's a great thing. But now there are more centralizing tendencies which have been there in some sense. We adopted this issue of Canadian system where some centralizing features were there, but we have accommodated states, and it was our freedom struggles part that we demanded states autonomy, and we have given that autonomy. State list is there, and on state list parliament cannot make laws except in emergency conditions or in the president's rule. So that's the situation. So we do not capture states autonomy. We are a united nation, but tendencies are not totally centralizing. Take the case of Britain. It's so small. India is so huge. So big population is there. We cannot centralize this country. We can never imagine to manage this country with the centralization. So that's why it's a dangerous trend, because it's an attack on federal feature. That's the problem. 370 is not a problem. Problem is that we have made a state a union territory, and here always we have accommodated people according to their wishes, and here there is no wish of the locals. That's the biggest problem. Already some alienation was felt by these people, and now 144 is going on, and their state is created into a union territory. So that's the thing. That means some amount of autonomy is certainly lost, because there will be a LG, Lieutenant Governor, not the governor. Governor is working on the advice of Council of Ministers and with the elected government, and here it would not be a governor. Instead of that, it will be lieutenant governor, and we have seen the issues in Puducherry and Delhi. What happens when there are LGs? Because there will be assembly in J&K, and LG will be there. So we have seen the problems there. So although they will be able to make laws in the state, but even Supreme Court had said in the Delhi's case that in rare cases and rare situations, LG's opinion will prevail because it is more a union territory. So that's why in Kashmir there are many issues which are rare, which are problematic, which are related to security, which are related to national sanctity. So that's why many more decisions may come from the center instead of their elected governments. So that's the issue there. And here when we make union territories, then these situations are totally different from the states. States have their own confidence, and we have given to many of them. Like in the northeast states, we have made special arrangements and special statuses were given, but these are not talked here. Smartly they have skipped those things in discussions. They have never talked about northeast states. They are only talking about one nation and one aspiration regarding Kashmir, but they are not telling that other states are also having these autonomous states, and you cannot buy land in other states also, like in Sikkim, like in Himachal. You cannot buy these lands. So that's why it is going to be a bigger problem there. And Kashmiris, all the Kashmiris, all these scholars there and the rationalist minds, they know all these things. So on the basis of those things, they will complain a lot. So there are very little chances that in Kashmir Valley these things will be accepted. Maybe Jammu is accepting these things, and there is a reason that Jammu's demography is different from Kashmir Valley, and Ladakh is having its own region. It's a unique situation there. Ladakh felt isolated there in JNK, so that's why it's very happy, and it's legitimate that their demands were going on since 1990, and this is a nice issue now for them that it has been converted into a union territory. But the problem with Kashmir, and that's the sensitive region, and that's why we have to talk about this federation issue. JNK, especially the Jammu and Kashmir region, separating Ladakh here, these have been made as a union territory because of the Kashmiri Pandits issue and other demographical issues. Jammu is celebrating this move, and that's good, but in Kashmir Valley there are going to be problems for sure, because the way it was done, no rational mind today is questioning the implementation of 370, the removal of 370. Nobody is asking that. They are asking in what manner and how and why at this time, why at this moment. So we could wait here, and there could have been many alternatives to do that, because 370 was transient and temporary. We knew about that. Although Supreme Court and High Court said that these have become permanent, but we knew that politically and constitutionally we will remove that gradually. But this is not the manner. It's a jerk, and that's a problem. And the bigger problem is the federal issue. Federation is there in USA, Australia, and these countries, but their federation is a true federation, and they have very much autonomy and separate constitutions, separate laws, separate citizenships, separate flags can be there. But these things are not there in India. We have governors there in every state. For that, centralizing tendencies are maintained, and we have enabled states. We have accommodated these states. We have accepted, we have respected their uniqueness, and that's why in the state list also, and in the Schedule 6 states, these tribes and all autonomous district councils, many arrangements we have done, and these all things are keeping this country united actually. So our form of quasi federation, that's actually keeping this country united. Okay, so that's the thing, that's the greatest thing about it. And the America's federation, they are opposing the centralizing tendencies. Their federation does not allow a unification, but our federation allows unification, and that's the most unique thing about it. Now, we knew that it was a transitional clause and had become a semi-permanent institutional compromise. Although this was ever an uneasy compromise, we knew it's an uneasy compromise, and that's why we all were having this opinion that gradually it will go away. But the manners are always important. The way you make a child understand, then only a loving way, only a caring way can work there. If you thrash the kid, you beat that child, then he or she will never be able to understand those things. Why I'm telling you this? Although Kashmir is not a child, but the way is always important. That's the thing. And the problem of ego. If one side forces the other side, then other side will always show the ego, because it's all a psychological existence, and everybody wants to maintain that. You cannot force a big demography there. That's the problem there. And security situation is above all. We all know about that. But the way it is done spontaneously and without any consent, or in this situation where already some feeling of alienation was going on, patarbajis and all, they never stopped, and our soldiers are martyred every day in a Kashmir situation, and locals participation in militancy is going on. In this phase, this forcing bill, that's a bigger problem. And that's why they say that federation question is to be asked here, because this way maybe in the future other states can become victims, because it's all going towards centralizing the issue. Because in many issues, in many bills like RTI and all, we have seen that central government is becoming all powerful there. They all want to take things under their own condition. In the motor bill also, in the medical commission bill also, all states are protesting that it's more a centralizing tendency. So all these tendencies are showing us that central government is overarching somewhere. So is it going to be there in Kashmir? Is it going to be there with the other federal features also regarding our constitution? That's the bigger question here, and that needs to be asked. Question is nowhere that 370 removal was wrong. Nobody is saying that. They are just asking. It is all the labeling by the IT cell. We all know that how they want reasons to troll other people. That people are protesting against 370. Nobody is protesting against 370. We all know about that. Okay, it is the same argument that some people are national, some people are anti-national. Somebody never said Bharat Mata ki Jai, then they are anti-national. No, it is not like that. Nobody is saying that 370 is wrong. The removal of 370 is wrong. No, it is not the question. Question is of the federal features and the way it was done. The manner is always important. Okay, even after world wars, people come to the table and they shed their egos. Then only they can talk, and when they talk, then only there are solutions. So by force, no solution can be there. So militarily, this situation can never be solved. We have seen that, and whole world has thousands of years of history that no situation was solved this way. They can only be suppressed for some time, and they will reappear with bigger force. So that's why we cannot solve this, and this is all the pressurized system. So that's the case. We have reached agreements with the Nagas and Mijos. Recently, today it was there in the newspaper that some talks are going on that Nagas will have their own flag. So this arrangement is going on. That means in other parts also there are similar kinds of arrangements. If Nagas will have their own flag, means what's the difference in Kashmir and Nagaland? They're also having their flag, they're also having their flag, but we are allowing because we want to keep them united with center. We know some arrangements we need to do there, because some compromises in the relations we always have to do. But if we consider those things, those small things, then they can give us a bigger advantage that we will be a united nation. It means united country. So that's the reason that we have reached with many arrangements in Article 371. 371, I have given yellow pages in the end of the PDF, and this is all explained. What is 371? What are the provisions there? So regarding Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana now, and Nagaland, Mizoram, Sikkim, we all have special arrangements there. Special statuses are given to these states. So there are reasons, and it is all the issue of accommodation, and that we have done always. Now, why this is only the argument which is being proposed that we need one nation there, and we cannot give separate things to Kashmir, specific thing to Kashmir and all. So these arguments are contrary to the already existing arrangements. So that's the bigger problem there. Regarding Sikkim also, you see Article 371F allowed for the laws that were in place before Sikkim's accession to remain in place unless amended or repealed by the legislature. So their legislature will say that we will repeal these things or not. So that's the problem. Similar things are present there with the other states. Then why to force Kashmir? And in this time when a lot of problems are not solved till now, and this is never going to be the solution, because it is a force. and people are under 144. And many people may say these are common arguments, and they do not have any meaning. That they explain that 144 is done because of this reason and because of this reason. Common people, they do not know politics, they do not know constitutional arrangements, they do not know about federal features, they do not know about the quasi-federation system of India, they do not know about the other expert areas. But still, they are the majority, so they give their opinions on Facebook and WhatsApp and all forwards, copies and everything, and creating political pressure there. And politics, the parties, they are complying with that because they want votes, so they can never go against majority. So that's a foolish system that is going on, because the issue is that time is that we need to focus on these all angles, and we need to listen to them. Maybe we will reach on the similar opinion which we are holding today, but this process is important. Going through the expert opinions is important, because why they are saying this way? Because those are experts, they have done PhDs in these subjects. Like the writer has written a book on Indian federalism, and that's unique. She found it very interesting, and that's why she studied that. When she studied that, then she is much more capable than any average Indian who is just spilling on Facebook and writing these arguments there without knowing the substance there. So she is much more capable, and that's why it's important to listen to these things. And that's the case which will broaden our understanding. It will enhance our capability to reach new levels of understanding and having a range in our opinions and out of the box thinking, and what can be added in your approach. These are the practices, and everyone needs to do that. And that's why it's an important thing to know about these details. As you see, annulment of 370 has been there on their political cards always. But you see, other regional parties, they are also giving a support, and that's a unique thing, because if you do similar things in America, then they will heavily protest that, and all the regional parties and states and all, they will oppose these centralizing moves. But here on the Kashmir issue, because we have lost many lives from all over the India, these soldiers they came from, then that's why it's a extremely intensive and emotional issue, and nobody can dare to talk against those things, and especially these political parties. They can never go against people's opinion regarding Kashmir, and it has become like that. But you see, again I say that that's a true thing, that a lot of pains are there. We have lost many soldiers, but to solve the issue, force and the military is not the answer. That's the reason. And whatever is lost, we can never get that back. But in the future, we need to make those kind of arrangements, those kind of ways we should adopt, that more lives are not lost. Now, what has happened? They need to control the protest in the future. So, more lives will be at stake. So, that's the problem. So, regional parties are also supporting that and calling it a root cause of terrorism, this Article 370. So that's all a pacifist measure, because majority opinion working in this way, and that's most important for them. And experts say in a different way. They are asking questions that in which manner you are proposing these things and how you can do that at this particular time. Removing 370 is good. That's okay, because gradually it was to be done. But now in this manner is very much questionable. Autonomy arrangements are also presented as anti-egalitarian because they prevent the extension of rights in force and elsewhere in the country. Why? You see, in the next slide, what it says, this last argument underscores the significance of the simultaneous emphasis on the extending reservation for the scheduled caste, because it is all a centralizing tendency. And in which manner the trend is going on? The trend is going on that just make things monochromatic, means single opinion, single country, single election, single ways, a single code, everything is going in a unitary way. And in this manner, they are supporting the equality in every, not equality, but they are supporting the argument of making something single, okay, and making something that looks all similar, no variation, no reservations are allowed. And you see, if you see the condition in Article 371, there are these are constitutional reservations to these states, and that's called accommodation. So if this kind of opinion will go, then again they will turn towards the issue of reservations and all. The talks are going on regarding the women's reservation in parliament and all. So they will say that reservations are not good. These concept itself is a wrong concept. So in a way, centralizing everything and putting all things with single paint, that's the problem, because there are differences and we need to accommodate that. Reservation is not good today, we all know about that, but worst thing is the less number of vacancies. That's a worst thing, and nobody is talking about that. And here, when this will be talk about the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and reservation to females, then it may face the similar kind of argument, and there can be a different and again a wave against these accommodations. So these are accommodations actually. The reservation was there to be here for 10 to 20 years, not more than that. But you see, this has uplifted the situation in some manner, and that's why it's going on, and the politics has exploited those phenomena. So this was not a problem till 1990s or 2000s, but now it's a bigger problem because less number of vacancies are there. So situations are changing. So according to the situation, we need to understand those problems. That's the way. So understand my point here, that it is all going against the reservation concept, and it is not only the reservation in jobs and all, it is about the accommodation also, constitutional reservation also. And these accommodations, these are important arrangements to keep the country united, and that's why they say here, because these arrangements were done according to people's consents, but here you are turning a state into a union territory, that's going to provide a ground for secessionist claims. We have fought insurgency in Northeast for many decades, and it was all a secessionist claims every time, and they never wanted to be with the center. But we made these arrangements. Now everyone is more or less happy, and they are united, and they are okay with the Indian center, and they are going on with the Indian identity, and that's the greatest thing. They all are united, and at every instance they are going with the Indian state. They are not saying today that we want to go away from India. We want to get separated from India. They're not saying that, because we have respected their uniqueness, their tribal traditions and all, and we have given them some autonomy there. So that's the issue. And here, it was a similar kind of thing with Jammu and Kashmir. And these secessionist claims will rise according to the writer, because it's all a dilution of federal feature there. And this respect is going on. If we talk about the federation of US and India, then theirs is the most constraining, because by design, India's federal institutions place relatively weak checks on the powers of governments with a parliamentary majority, because center is becoming much more powerful now, and they are trying these tendencies that they will become more powerful, and they are going against the federal features of the constitution. They have always dreamt of a centralization of this country and a united India. In the name of united India, they are going more with the centralizing tendencies. Like in all the bills we have seen, RTI and these medical commission bill, motor vehicle bill, everywhere we see centralizing tendencies. So those tendencies, if they would have been in USA, then all these things would have constrained the federal features there, and those states would have fought against that. Means they would have never accepted those kind of dilution of the federal features, because they are much more autonomous and they enjoy that autonomy and they want that. They are the part of USA, but they all are in a contract there, and they take themselves as a unity. That's why they have a dual citizenship. They have dual laws, but still they are USA. But here in India, we have not gone with that model. Ours quasi-federation system is demos enabling, means we accommodate people according to their wishes, and in the similar manner we have done those things with these states. These union territories, they have got the status of a state. Goa has got that, and Himachal Pradesh was a union territory, it got a status of a state. So it was all a state, and those specific arrangements were done. In Himachal, you cannot buy land. That's the case. But on lease, you get that, and you do businesses in the same manner. You are doing in J&K also. Land is given on lease. So it is not the case that we had not done arrangements with others, and it was the principle of demos enabling, means according to their wish, we have done those things, and we have made union territories as state. Never we made never made states as union territory. This is never the case. So that's the problem, and we have given more autonomy there. We have not taken their autonomy anywhere. Delhi was having assembly from 52 to 56, but it is having a unique case that it's a national territory, and all the issues with the parliament and these MPs houses and all those security arrangements are there. So that's why it's a unique case. So assembly was it was removed from Delhi scene, and in 56 till 1992 Delhi was not having any assembly, but this NCT Act came and they again gave some autonomy there, and this legislative assembly was given to Delhi, but still there are issues. So we have never done that without people's consent. You can say that Telangana was without people's consent because half of the people were demanding that, half of the people were against that. But it was created a state only. Telangana is a state only. It's not a union territory. J&K is made a union territory. So that's the angle here. And here, first this bifurcation. Although it is okay, you did this bifurcation, but you made a state a union territory. That's the problem. And here, when this special arrangement we had, and we were about to gradually dissolve that, then maybe some other alternatives would have been here. They would have thought there, and this discussion could have gone there with the people of Kashmir. Now some people will say that why they will accept that, and why they will they will become a part of this discussion, and they will never want that, and they are all going against Indian Center and all. So this is not a working idea, because if somebody is thinking in that way, then you cannot stop him thinking in that way. You cannot force somebody to think according to you. This is a forceful thing, and that's why whenever this issue of J&K comes, then the issue of their will that comes, what people want. We have not revealed all the issues regarding a referendum. Why we do not go for referendum there? Because there are influences there. Separatism as a tendency is there. Separatist leaders are there. But you see, some new inventions we would have done there. We could have captured those separatist leaders, and then with the people we could have discussed this issue, making some specific bodies and all, and we could have made those kind of arrangements. But blocking the people and then turning their state into a union territory, that's the dilution of the federal feature there, and stripping of their specific powers and autonomies and the special status altogether. And that was the bigger problem here, and that's why the writer says it is not demos enabling, which has been there, and it's more a demos constraining. So this is not the first time that the central government has used its power to bifurcate a state in the absence of local consensus. We have done that in the case of Telangana, but it was made a state, not a union territory, as I told you. So unknown consequences in Kashmir, and this will be a issue. So